Since changing the name of the Eclectic Americana Friday morning drive time radio show on January 20th, 1989 to the Bushwhackers Breakfast Club, the DJs in the collective have strived to entertain and inform our listeners. Airing from 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific at KZSC 88.1 FM in Santa Cruz, California, the Bushwhackers usually have 2 interviews a week, each airing for about half an hour. We're not afraid to ask questions or admit that we don't know something, and we don't mind taking deep dives or following a tangent as we get into how sausage is made in local, county, or state politics, or learning about things going on in our community, or discussions with artists. Our interviews are not scripted and are produced by myself, Dangerous Dan Orange.
Good morning, KZSC. You are on the air. Sam?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Are we joined by Sam Chase of Sam Chase and the Untraditionals?
That's me, yes.
Fantastic. Where are you joining us from, Sam?
I'm joining you from my living room in San Francisco right now, wiping the sleep out of my eyes from a fantastic show last night
Amazing.
in the East Bay.
I find that's often where we find musicians in the morning is
Like,
getting
you said
sleep out of them.
8:30? Are you sure?
Trying to get up. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a good
understandable.
thing that radio doesn't have smell-o-vision because I've still got last night's whiskey on my breath and haven't showered. Haven't even had my first cup of coffee yet. But
Yep. Hey.
I came
We
here
should
for you
offer
guys.
scratch and sniff Post-it cards for that.
Yeah. No, I don't think I've showered before a Bushwhackers in months at this point. So I'm right there with you, Sam. We're holding down a real stinky air room right now. Also, you're joined by me, Kalamity Kyle, and by my co-host Chaos.
Yes.
So Sam, you're playing a gig tonight at the Felton Music Hall, splitting the bill with Wolf Jet. You're playing at 8 p.m. What time does Sam Chase and the Untraditional come on?
I think we go on first.
Okay.
Tonight. We've on this little small mini tour with Wolf Jet, and we played last night at the Ivy Room in Albany, and so tonight I think we're going on first tonight in Felton.
Cool. Sounds great. So that if you would like to attend that show, you can go to Felton Music Hall's website. There will be tickets in sale in advance there. So, Sam, I'm curious as to where this tour catches you as you're working with your band. Are y'all just in full-on touring mode right now, or have you been recording recently?
We're full on playing shows.
Cool.
Recording is always in the back of our mind. But right now we're still supporting our most recent album that came out in 2022. The newest album is getting a little old for my taste at this point. So we're hoping to get back in the studio sometime next year.
That's how it starts. Because I can imagine playing the same album, over and over. You're like, wow, we can bring something new to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is starting to show its age a little bit. Could you tell us a little bit about the album that just came out? So this is you call this an album?
Yeah, you call this an album. All the songs were written during the pandemic. Obviously, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have a whole lot of time hanging around with my friends. I had a lot of time in front of my computer screen with Facebook and all the other conspiracy theorists on social media that were telling me crazy things. So I felt it my duty to tell all those crazy conspiracy theorists how stupid their ideas were. And that was most of my 2020.
Sure.
But aside from that, I spent a lot of the time just sitting in my room writing songs. And I wrote over 120 songs over the course of 2020.
Wow. Jeez.
And all of the songs that were any good ended up being a part of this album.
Gotcha.
And I just wanted to interrupt real fast.
Yes.
We just got over 500 for Bushwhackers Breakfast Club with a donation from Chris. You can be like Chris and donate to kzsc.fm/give. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you so much, Chris. So Sam, we're in the middle of our spring pledge drive right now here at KZSC, and we just crossed $500 in donations during this show, which is huge and means a lot to this station. So Chris, thank you so much for pushing us over the edge. Chris donated $60. You can be like Chris and take us even higher in the 25 minutes that we have left in this show. Let's break 600. Let's break 700. Let's do it, or let's not, and let's stay within this. Donate as much as you can. KZSC.FM/give. Every bit is appreciated. So Sam, let's give our listeners a sense of Sam Chase and the Untraditionals. I'm wondering, out of the two songs that you gave me off of You Called This an Album, which one would we like to hear first?
Let's do, what did I send you? Strike a Chord?
Strike a Chord and The Thing About a Memory.
Yeah, I mean, can you cue up any of the songs from the album?
I've got both of them queued up right now.
Okay, let's do Strike a Chord.
Let's do it. Could you tell us a little bit about this song?
It's the first song on the album. It was one of the first songs that I wrote during COVID, and I think it just kind of reflects my feelings at the time.
Gotcha. Fantastic. That letting the song speak for itself a little bit. I dig it. Perfect. So Sam Chase and the Untraditionals, they're playing a show tonight at the Felton Music Hall at 8 p.m. Sam, stick with us. You might hear something through the telephone. You might not. It's kind of a mystery to me at this point. But hang with us. We'll be right with you shortly. But for now, right. Sam Chase and the Untraditionals with Strike a Chord.
Take a long look back from where you started. It's longer than you have ever gone. But who would have thought that back in the beginning that you'd be better off never leaving home? But that's how it goes. You're never guaranteed that the path that you have chosen wasn't wrong. But it's right to go the wrong way. It brought you up here today to write about the wrong here in this song. Strike a big chord, tell a mighty story. No taking shorthand on the run. There's no better way to leave a mark upon the page than to let the pen do what it's always done. So let the ink bleed, let the song sing. Give the garden what it needs and let it grow. Cause harmony is happiness, earthquakes and vibrations worth be given to the unknown. You can never get high enough. Look back at how far you come from where you hang your heart. Song beats inside your chest, but you're never gonna find it if you can't admit that you're running from where you are. From where you started, it's longer than you have ever gone. But who would have thought that back in the beginning that the path you had to take would lead you home?
That was Sam Chase with Strike a Chord. So Sam, that's just you as a solo artist?
No, that's a full band.
That's
right
a full
there.
band. Okay,
But,
it sounds like
it was written during the pandemic by myself. Yeah.
Nice.
Gotcha.
And
fantastic.
You're here listening to Bushwhacker's Breakfast Club on KZSC Santa Cruz. I'm Chaos.
I'm Calamity Kyle.
And
I'm Sam.
And
we're
Sam.
joined here with Sam Chase from Sam Chase and the Untraditional. And you can go to kzsc.fm/give if you love listening to Bushwhackers and our interviews that we have here.
You can also at Felton Music Hall's website, you can find tickets for Sam's show with Wolf Jet tonight at 8 p.m. Felton Music Hall. All right, go for it, Cass.
A lot of information that we're throwing out here. So, Sam, I wanted to ask how, especially because this feels like, the album was written during the pandemic, but like, how did your band form? Like, how did you all come together?
Well, we've been together since about 2010, and obviously had a rotating cast of characters throughout those years. But we've had like a pretty strong core group for like about the past decade. And first and foremost, when creating a band, you have to get along. You don't necessarily need the talent. The talent will come, And when I formed this band, I formed it with the people that I wanted to form a band with. And none of us necessarily had anything in common musically. And that ended up becoming, I think, what was charming about the band in the beginning years is that we just played music that all of our styles, there was like a cultural bouillabaisse of talent that created this strange stew of music. And then over the years, like we've gotten better at our instruments and honed our sound a bit to kind of become the Untraditional that we are today. But yeah, I mean, it was all just kind of a fluke. I played punk rock music for a bunch of years, and it wasn't until I switched from the loud electric guitar down to a softer acoustic guitar that people were like, "Oh, well, I like this music. I didn't really care for the punk rock music," and I'm just like, it's the same songs, just on a different guitar. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a roundabout way of answering your question, but yeah, it started in 2010, and we've just kind of been chugging along ever since.
Right, and I imagine that when you're in a situation where the music that you're creating is being filtered through several people's stylistic preferences, what emerges, in a way, it helps you understand the commonalities as well as the differences between different genres of music. I'm curious if you could be a little bit more specific about what each band member brought to the sound and how your initial impressions of how you wanted your songs to sound changed as you started to perform them with a full band.
Oh, yeah, they changed a lot. Yeah, I mean, some of the members brought classical experience. Like, we have a cello player in the band who's actually been there since the very beginning.
That's cool.
And, me and her couldn't be further apart when it came to our musical influences because I come from, punk rock and rock and roll and, stuff like that. And she comes from a much softer background as well as, a classical background. And when I called her to start the band, I was like, I don't know what this will ever become, but I want to do this with you and it'll be super fun. And she was super down, and she's still in the band today. But we also have people that come from we got punk influences. We've got, more kind of jazz influences, a lot of jazz, which I never listened to. We have a lot of kind of 80s funk and rock and roll and hair metal. I mean, it's all over the place when it comes to the styles. I think I come more from the punk rock folky, kind of style. And,
right.
Which is very limited in what I can bring. But then when you bring in all those other influences, the songs that I bring to the table can change drastically. And it's pretty amazing to see that influence kind of channel the songs in a totally different direction than what I had thought.
Right. I wonder if you ever had a strong impression of yourself as a solo singer-songwriter and what you wanted your sound to be, and whether for you, as someone coming into this and bringing songs to this project, I wonder if, at first, if it was slightly difficult to kind of let your songs exist in the minds of all these other people and have the song change as a result of their input. Like, at first, was it like, no, that's my baby?
I mean, you got to kind of check your ego at the door a little bit,
right?
For sure. But one thing that I also realize when I bring a song to the table is, I'm pretty much like the least talented person in the room, and I'm basically giving this song to a bunch of mad scientists that can just tweak it and turn it into stuff. Obviously, I have a certain amount of veto power, and I do have an idea of what I want it to sound like at this point. I'm not just throwing it into the tiger pen and seeing what happens. Like it's definitely, it's a collaborative effort. And, over time, all of our separate influences have started to kind of rub off on each other. And so we've kind of gotten to the point where we kind of know what's going to be brought to the table, because we've been playing together for so long. And, it's fun. It's really cool to be able to hear other people's interpretations of the song or the skeleton of the song that you bring to the table.
So let's hear another song. So are we playing the Thing About a Memory? We also have In a Perfect World. Do you have any preferences, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, based on what we were just talking about, I think if we play In a Thing About a Memory,
cool.
This is a song that was written and originally imagined as me being completely solo because it's a very lonely, dark song. Sure. But when I initially brought it to the table and we started working on it, I realized, especially from the classical players, like our cello player, and we have a violinist too who's heavily classically trained. Once they kind of got a hold of it, we just started having a lot of fun, and it's turned into what it is that
Gotcha.
You're about to hear right now.
Let's do it. The Thing About a Memory from Sam Chase and the Untraditionals. The Sam Chase and the Untraditionals will be playing tonight at the Felton Music Hall, 8 p.m., splitting the bill with famed Santa Cruz band Wolfjet. You can go to the Felton Music Hall's website for more information on that show. We're talking with Sam Chase. Sam will be right back. The Thing About a Memory by Sam Chase and the Untraditionals.
That compelled me to believe I should believe in. So I stumbled through the kitchen after a failed mission to find my car keys. It was probably for the best because I wasn't in any good state to be driving. But that feeling that I needed of movement and of freedom, something powerful to take my mind away from the reminder I'm slowly dying. But I would count myself lucky not to see my friends and family go before me. Living to see them die ain't no happy ending, at least not to me. She will constantly remember to remind me that her memory is faulty. She says for her the problem's chronic, but I find it more ironic. She is always who remembers to remind me. That's what's great about a memory, the great human ability to construct it. We don't care for certain details, we can twist them into tales much more forgiving or more destructive. In mine, I've sailed oceans. and I have conquered demons. I've lived in moments that if I put them into words, it would only disrespect them. And to me, these moments, they are angels. Angels floating through my cortex. They're guiding me with memories of the past so that my future has some context. Or maybe it's all just ego-driven bullshit I construct from a desire to be perfect. And I am just as guilty of that irony that my good memory was built from my inability to remember anything.
Okay, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut that one off a little bit early. There was a 7 deadly in it. We'll explain what that is. Sam, are you with us?
Yeah.
Cool. So there was a word in there you can't say on the radio, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to read this. As a non-commercial educational radio station, KZSC supports the free expression of ideas. Please be aware that the opinions expressed are those of the speakers or artists only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the UC Regents, KZSC staff, management, or underwriters. We welcome your feedback on our programming. Please direct your comments to the Program Review Committee by calling 831-459-4726 or by emailing prc@kzsc.org. Sorry about that, everyone. Oh man, sometimes you get unlucky. Not on you, Sam, at all. It's FCC policy that we can't play certain words during certain hours during the day. Right. What we just heard though is The Thing About a Memory by Sam Chase and the Untraditional off of You Call This an Album. So Sam, to continue our conversation, I always ask this question to musicians that come on the show because I wonder if I like to imagine that if there's musicians out there listening, they can perhaps gain something from hearing about it. Money. So music and money, the relationship between it is quite fraught. Most people groan when I ask them this question, for the record. So prepare yourself for a groan, Sam. How do you currently make a living doing music? If so, how'd you make it happen? How long has that been the case? If not, what else do you do to keep food on the table?
Well, yes, we do make money. Whether we make a lot of money, I think is, relative.
Right. Do you make a living?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I mean, and I'm able to pay all the bandmates and stuff. I wouldn't say that it's I wouldn't say we're making Bruce Springsteen money by any means, but, we're
Right.
doing pretty good. And, it keeps that food on the table for everybody in the band. And it's a big band. It's 8 pieces. But we all, also gear our lives and our careers, our other careers, around music. Like I do,
Right.
I do video work. And so I kind of have my own video production company that, I can kind of create my own hours
Mm-hmm.
and, work on the road, editing and stuff like that, so that I can, basically, be on call for any musical gig or tour or, traveling gig that may come through the pipeline.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, it's like, when I say that, like, I make money off of music, I do make money off of music, but my entire life and career is based around being able to make more music.
Huh. I see. So it's almost like you've built it's more so shaping the other things in your life to ensure that you have flexibility so that you can do music in the way that you want to do it. And it's not so much that it is 100% of your like current income, but it is a part of it that is made possible by other parts of your income and by you kind of like being flexible with other commitments. It sounds like, and other work commitments.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like building my career around being able to being available.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Dig it. So to what degree are you involved with the business side of the bands, the financial side of things?
100%.
Oh.
I'm the guy with the money purse. I'm the one that's basically paying off the manager, the booker, all the bandmates, I collect all the invoices and send out all the 1099s at the end of the year.
Gotcha. Man.
It sucks.
Did you? Yeah, I was gonna say, did you take to it, or was it a rough thing to have to get used to?
Well, I mean, it was rough in that it was hard to get right, and be able to find a system that worked for me and everybody,
right?
Because I don't have that kind of a background at all.
Gotcha.
But I knew that in order to make this work, it's just a necessary part of trying to keep a band together.
I hear you. So we'll be switching gears in just a moment. DJ Kai Dragon is about to take over with his show, Have a Nice Day at 9 a.m. So we've got just a minute left, Sam. I'm wondering if you could give our listeners in about 30 seconds a taste of what to expect from your show tonight at the Felton Music Hall.
Oh, you're going to get some rock and roll. You're going to have some fun. We're going to get sweaty. We're going to maybe drink some drinks and raise them to the world. We're going to, you're going to hear probably some of the greatest stories ever told in musical form.
Sweet.
The next additions to this dystopian karaoke songbook. It's going to be a good night of music.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us, Sam.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for chatting with us for a little bit. Break a leg tonight. Hope the show goes well again, that's Wolf Jet and Sam Chase and the Untraditional at the Felton Music Hall tonight. Sam, thank you. Take care.
You've been here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been here listening to the Bushwhackers Breakfast Club on KZSC Santa Cruz. I'm Kaos.
I'm Kalamity Kyle. So we're doing our spring pledge drive right now here at KZSC, and we have officially broken $600. Yes. Okay, did we break?
We have We have 658. Thank you, yes. Patricia and Adon. We appreciate you so much for donating in these last few minutes of Bushwhackers Breakfast Club.
Patricia donated $10. Thank you so much, and Adon donated $100. Thank you so much. Listeners like you keep this station running. Mm-hmm. And on that note, we've been the Bushwhackers Breakfast Club. You're listening to KZSC Santa Cruz. And
we gotta go.
You've been listening to a podcast from an interview on the Bushwhackers Breakfast Club on KZSC 88.1 FM in Santa Cruz, California. This interview has been produced by myself, Dangerous Dan Orange. KZSC is a student-run college and community non-commercial educational radio station broadcasting from the UC Santa Cruz campus. You can stream KZSC online at kzsc.org. Thanks for listening.